What is the goal of succession planning? By the end of this video, you're going to be well on your way to defining the outcome of managing your largest asset. An unplanned business transition creates a tidal wave of chaos for you, your family, and even your CPA. Don't you want to know what people are going to say about your business 10 years after you left it? One other thing I'll tell you is your business actually does have a succession plan. The government's written one for you, and I promise you're not going to like it. There are some benefits that I want to walk through because before you go through the hard work of succession planning and transition planning, which you absolutely need to do it, and I want to give you some tips to do that. If you wait to the end, I've got a really special video that I think will be helpful for you to be able to walk through tactically to actually build that succession plan. But what I want to walk you through is the ultimate goal of that succession planning before you start diving into the hard work. So I've heard it before, there's only two things guaranteed in life. I want to add a third. So the first one of these is going to be death, right? It's kind of depressing. So let's move on. Second is taxes. Woo, that's depressing too. Let's move on to the third and see if we can get better. The third is what we're going to talk about right now, and that's transitions. That's guaranteed in life, is you're going to, if you own a business, eventually you're going to transition that business. So we know it. The good news is we can get that out of the way. We don't have to worry about that. We can start to think, hey, how do we properly plan for that transition rather than just waking up one day and going, I had no idea. No, that's one of the three guarantees in all of life. So when we think about these things that will be true, we've got to start incentivizing ourselves with the benefit of that. So let's take this as kind of depressing on this side, and let's look on this side and start to look what are some of the benefits of succession planning. The first is this idea of legacy. There are not many people in life that wouldn't say they want to leave a legacy. I remember when my sons were at home before they launched out into the world, we would do a thing on Tuesday nights called Man Up. And it was my sons, and they got to invite whoever they wanted. So we'd have a group anywhere between 5 and 17 young men that would come to our house for about 6 years in a row on a Tuesday night. We'd play some fun games and some silly stuff, and we'd do some dumb stuff sometimes, and then we would eat, usually tacos in a bag, chili, something super simple that young guys like. And then we'd go out to my fire pit behind the house, and we would sit around and we would talk deep about stuff. And we would get in the weeds about all the things that they were dealing with as young, growing men at that stage of their life. But there was always one night a year that I would walk them across, and if you went across the road from where our little neighborhood is, there's a graveyard, and it's an old graveyard. We live in a part of South Carolina where there's a lot of Civil War history and a lot of just history in general, and we'd go into that graveyard and we would see gravestones from the 1800s and early 1900s. And so as we walked around those gravestones, I remember one of the guys saying one time, he had heard from somebody else, that little gravestone was there. I'll put this on kind of the depressing side of our board. And he noticed this right here. So you had a number here and a number here, but he focused right there. And he called it the dash. And I thought it was really interesting. And you might have heard this before. But I was really intrigued to hear a 10th grader or 11th grader or 12th grader talking about the dash. And I said, hey, go ahead and explain that. Tell us what you mean. He said, well, the dash is all of life. It's everything between the day you were born and the day that you died. This is called legacy. That's the dash. And so when we go to build a business, we don't want to just build something that's a gig or that generates income from us, but we want to build something that's actually going to generate a legacy, bring value for people, not just ourselves, but value downstream. So when we're building a succession plan, I want you to think through the lens of legacy. What's the legacy you want to leave? Now, a second goal of succession planning or transition planning is this idea of eliminating chaos and adding clarity. This is the one thing above all things, more than pay, more than remote work, more than time off, that employees say that they want, is they want clarity. As we get told all the time, hey Scott, nobody wants to work anymore. This generation, da-da-da-da-da, and it's a lot of grumbling and griping, and the reality is there are a lot of members of the younger generation who want to work, and not only work, but work very hard. They just don't want to work in chaos. And one thing that younger generations have today that they did not have in the past, they have options. So in the past, in the 1900s, when you wanted a job, you kind of have to go after the jobs that are there. Now in modern day context, if there's a job that's not there that you want, you can go create your own job. And so younger generations now have options. And so we, as employers, as business owners, we need to create magnetic environments that invite and set the stage for people to come do hard things. So that's a visual I want you to get your eyes on, this idea of clarity. Think of it as you're creating a stage. And on that stage are actors that are on that stage, and they're able to pursue some of the visions, the values that they have because of a stage that you have provided. This leans into legacy just a little bit, but by setting a stage, you're creating clarity for other people. The third goal that we're going for is this idea of, get up here, pardon my artwork by the way, is this idea of creating value, creating and maximizing value. Now, in creating and maximizing value, the Exit Planning Institute offers 5 stages of increasing the value of a business. The first stage, if you start at the bottom, is this identifying the value of your business. So this is actually going through a simple valuation process, either a certified or a ballpark valuation process, identifying that value and what is this business worth today. The second step might surprise you. Most people think it's to grow the value of the business. That's not true. The second stage is what they say to protect the value. So you go through, you build this wonderful business, and all of a sudden it's got all these legal holes in it that people come in and get it. The more you increase the revenue, the more susceptible you are because you've got all these assets that people can come and get. So we need to work with insurance professionals and legal professionals and make sure that a lot of the holes in our business are protected. Then we move into growing the value, harvesting the value. That means actually taking chips off the table in a full sale, a partial sale, an ESOP. It could be selling equity to some of our team members, whatever it might be. And then final is if you've harvested any of it, obviously you've got to manage it. That's where you've heard about things like family offices or whatever. They take a lot of wealth from people who've sold businesses and they start to manage that wealth for other things. Most business owners are going to be in these first 3 areas right here: identifying, protecting, and growing the value, and then setting it up for harvesting of some kind, either to an outside buyer or to some of their family members. But one of the third goals of succession planning is to both create and build the value in the business that you already have. There's a fourth value I don't want to miss over here, and for that one I'm going to put a clock, because there's a lot of business owners that have created a business, and what they've actually done is created a job they don't like working for a boss they hate. The boss is you. And so we don't want to do that. We want to create a valuable asset. And so in that asset, there's part of the value of that asset is not just the money that comes in it, but it's the time as well. And so if we can go look at the time that we're creating, your business has the opportunity to buy you time. For many of you, your business is actually, it feels like it's taking time from you. And so you're sitting at the dinner table at 11:37 on a Thursday night doing bidding or estimating or payroll or receivables or whatever it might be. And the reality is we want your business to provide you not just with the money or the value, but also with the time for things that matter most. So based on this time, this is where I want to draw your attention to a powerful video that I think is going to be incredibly helpful for you. If you'll click in the description link below, it'll walk you through step by step how to actually build your vision story strategic planning, get you on your way to building a powerful succession plan. So make sure you click on that video so you can find out how to get more time and how to get more value by creating clarity and setting the stage, not only for yourself, but for other people. The ultimate goal of succession planning is to take this entire thing that you have built, boil it down into one package, and make it available for other people to be able to come and get that package and run and grow that asset with or without you. What you don't want to do is hand this thing off and it becomes something that sits on top of somebody and becomes a burden for them. We want it to be something that they can work with and not something that buries them in what they work on. So ultimately, our goal to succession planning, legacy, clarity, value, and time, but really all of that adds up so that we can create value and giftedness for other people. We want this business to be a gift, either to our family or to people who buy it. I told you earlier in the video I had a powerful resource for you, and I want to draw your attention to that now. Go into the description and the link below, and I've got an amazing video to walk you step by step through how to build your vision story, which will start to create all of these goals that you have: a legacy, clarity, value, and time for your business. My name is Scott. We work with business owners between 3 and 100 employees to help build their purpose, people, process, and profit so they can be liberated from chaos and make time for the things that matter most.